How's it going, guys? And welcome back to another episode of the CFCTALK podcast. A great win against Burnley. If you haven't checked that episode out, make sure to check it out because Alex and Amart were on there, and Alex had to maybe do, I think, was it Alex 4 or 5 retakes to get yourself ready for the intro.
We haven't even introduced our guest yet, and he's still salvaging me. This is how it is.
Any opportunity counts. Any opportunity I get, I have to take it. No, we're joined by the usual hosts, Alex and Amart, and sorry to keep you waiting, Michelle, but welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Very happy to be on today.
Great to have you on. And if you have been living under a rock since the last few days, Nishal is an upcoming, I should say, and a very talented writer. He's been all over Chelsea Twitter. He has his own blog where he writes about football, and he has experience in writing for 90 Minutes Football, The Guardian, and everything Reuters. So great to have you on, Nishal. First guest of 2021, actually. I've just kind of realized that because we haven't really had any guests on. But Nishal, you were at the bridge against that win for that win against Burnley. How did you feel, and what were your emotions like when you were at the bridge the other night?
Well, the emotions beforehand were very, very overwhelming, I'd say. As a fan and someone who's not been to the bridge in almost a year now because of a pandemic, it was incredible to be able to go back. But once I got there, I was very focused on doing my job. I went as a journalist rather than a fan. So I was focused on getting my articles out, getting the tweets and the content. So I kind of got over the emotions beforehand. And then when I was there, I was focused and making sure I was doing my job. But in terms of being back at Stamford Bridge, absolutely surreal. Seeing it empty on TV week in, week out just pains me, knowing that I should be there. But to be back, albeit in an empty stadium behind closed doors, it was incredible. And, I was right next to the players, right next to Thomas Tuchel for his first win, the first goal of the Tuchel era as well. And I don't forget how honoured and how privileged I am to have been there because, it was only the media and a select few who were able to be at the game, and unfortunately not 40,000 Chelsea fans. So, I do appreciate how privileged I am to have been at that game, and I don't take that for granted at all. That was a main focus of my content on the day. This is why, a lot of my tweets and photos were stuff that you wouldn't see at home and on TV. And I wanted the fans at home to feel like they were there again. But, it was a surreal experience and one I'll never forget.
And you talk about being back at the bridge. I'm assuming the last time you were there were fans there. So how different was the experience sitting in a stadium where you could probably hear Tuchel, as you said, compared to where you would have had 40,000 fans cheering for the manager and the players?
Well, personally, the difference was I wasn't able to chant. I wasn't able to sing along. I wasn't able to, my friends who I go to Chelsea with, they know me. I've got a reputation of being a very loud fan, chanting all the way through. And it did feel weird having to just stay silent throughout the entire game. That was a challenge, but a good challenge for me. In terms of Tuchel, very interesting to hear what he had to say. Of course, the stadium's dead silent and you can hear every single thing that's said. And, occasionally you can hear that in football in a normal game. But this is when no one else is speaking. Everyone else is watching and listening in. And, of course, an empty stadium, it all echoes around. So Tuchel was very animated, very loud, to say the least, on the touchline. Not as loud as Sean Dyche, though. He was even more. I think for Sean Dyche, he was very, very animated, very angry at some points as well with Burnley. But Tuchel was really fascinating to listen to, not just hearing his voice, but hearing what he had to say. His shouts to the players, telling them to take a second touch, or telling Callum Hudson-Odoi to move in, Tammy Abraham to get into the space in the box, and being able to hear exactly what's going through his mind and exactly what he wants to execute, I think gave me a really great insight into not only what Tuchel is as a manager, but what we can expect in the near future.
Yeah, I think Chelsea have been replacing managers left, right, and centre since the Roman Abramovich era, and I would love to see Tuchel stay here for another 2-3 years, at least even more. But other than that, you were fortunate enough to actually meet a few of the players on there as well. I think you posted a few pictures with, might get this wrong, but was it Jorginho? which was outside the stadium.
It was Jorginho, yeah. That was very unexpected because I left Stamford Bridge very late, actually. I think an hour and a half after full time. So everyone was gone. They were closing the stadium, and I was going out, having finished my work. And people who go to the bridge regularly know that if you stay long enough, you can catch the players leaving. And just like any match day, that was the same here. So I saw Jorginho and Thiago Silva leaving together, and I saw them, and I thought, oh, I'm pretty sure that's them. So I shouted over, well played, well done. And I asked for a photo. Thiago Silva didn't come over. I don't know if he didn't understand or if he couldn't be bothered. But Jorginho was very lovely, came over. We had a little chat, took a photo, and didn't expect that to blow up. But actually, I just tweeted that normally, and that ended up being the most popular tweet of the day. But yeah, really lovely to meet Jorginho and be able to interact with the players again after so many months.
Yeah, it must have been a great experience. Alex, Amart, you want to ask any questions? Anything you got in your mind?
No, I was just interested with um the fact that you said that the stadium was very empty, because I remember even hearing um Sean Dyke from the behind the TV. I heard him shouting some instructions to the defender to close in on Hudson-Odoi or something. But I didn't really hear Tuchel. But I'm just imagining how amazing to be actually being there and listening to um, the players. But the question I wanted to ask, probably because you've not been there previously, I just wanted to find out how the whole atmosphere was. Was there some form of tension, or were the players actually, like, were they happy? Were they like, was there any kind of how to say it, their behavior, the players' behavior, especially those behind the at the bench and those that were playing? How was the general attitude?
I think the attitude was really impressive. We saw a really good Chelsea performance, and especially considering without fans, with a new manager, they did really well. And I was really impressed with the performance. I think the big difference with, pre-COVID football games and post-COVID football games, for the players especially, is that, lots of players talk about being urged on by the fans and really fired up by the chanting and the support. And what they have to learn is to get that motivation themselves. And I think that's something you notice in the game. They were completely motivated, they were really fired up, very determined to get a win. But it felt weird watching them perform the same, but without the backing of everyone, because they're just playing in silence. And they know the only people actually watching them live in the stadium are journalists who are paid to kind of basically criticize them and say this player was good, this player was awful. The management, who are the ones choosing them, so they're under pressure from the management, they're under pressure from the journalists, and then of course you've got security staff and etc. So minus the fans, it's very interesting. I can't imagine, it must be a very difficult situation for the players, but they were brilliant without the fans. And you can only think, if this is how we're playing in an empty stadium under Tuchel, what will it be like when the fans are all back and you've got 40,000 Chelsea fans filled up in the bridge supporting the team?
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I think it's very refreshing and reassuring to hear that, like, the players are actually motivated. They are playing for their manager. I think it's good for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you need to be able to motivate yourself, not just as a footballer, but as an athlete. If you can't be motivated by your own goals and your own desires, how are you going to be? So, yeah, it was absolutely really positive. And especially for me, I felt in the latter stages of Lampard's reign, we didn't see the same motivation, the same drive, the same passion. Chelsea didn't look like they really wanted to play. And what I wanted to see from Tuchel was to see that drive come back. And we've seen that already in 2 games. They've come back. They really want to play for the manager, for the badge, for the club, for the fans. And that's what we were missing. So to be able to see them and see that they can still do that, especially under a new manager in a difficult time for the club, it's really encouraging. And as I said, I'm looking forward to the next few games and seeing how we really settle in and gel together under Tuchel.
Yeah, so I was going to ask a similar question to Amart. So Mohammed, if you want to, you want next?
Yeah.
I was going to ask.
I'll take over.
I can't imagine being in an empty Stamford Bridge is just. I can imagine it's quite a little unsettling, at least, or just kind of, just away from the norm. Especially if you've been. I haven't been to many games at the Bridge, but imagining it empty and football being played there is just. I mean, I think I've been on stadium tours as well a bit quite recent. Or no, I think it was a year and a half ago, and even then seeing it empty was just a little, just weird. Just like a lack of belonging almost, or just felt like something wasn't right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what didn't feel right for me was obviously going out Fulham Broadway, walking down Fulham Road and going into the stadium. What didn't feel right for me was no one being there. I didn't get my match day program outside the station. I didn't see the stalls selling CFC UK, fanzines, scarves, and memorabilia, for food, for chips. And I didn't get to meet my friends on the Britannia Gate. I didn't get to go in and enjoy a day out with my mates. And that felt really weird. Not just coming in to do a job, but coming in and going to see Chelsea just in a completely different manner. And I think, for me, I've been a regular at Chelsea. It's a big part of my life, I'll admit that. And going there without the people, like my dad, my friends, etc., going there without those people and without other fans, it didn't feel right, to be honest with you. And that's what I was thinking a lot about before I went. What's it going to be like? Because it's just me, and I'm not going to be able to support the team, and the team aren't going to know that there's a fan watching them. They just think I was another journalist. But there were a lot of emotions behind that. But as I said, when I was there, I was very focused on doing my job, and I did get to enjoy it as a fan. I allowed myself little celebration for both goals, but albeit very, very subdued. Otherwise, I think I might have been kicked out for being biased.
Yeah, understandable. It's like you almost see it as a different light, like going into the bridge, but like for work is something that I can't relate to, but I can imagine that it's just going in with a completely different mindset is quite an interesting experience. I can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think contrasting them, you go as a fan and it's about enjoyment. And of course, yes, it was still an enjoyable experience and I still really enjoyed it. But it's the difference in going knowing that you're there to support the team and have a great day out and be with everyone versus going because, you're working. So I think that was one of the really interesting contrasts I found. When I go in the future, I'll get more used to it, go in as a journalist, but really fascinating contrast between the two for sure.
Mohammad, you there?
Sorry. Sorry, I was speaking while on mute. Incredible. I think the only time I've been to Stamford Bridge was on a tour. I think it was off season. Lucky enough to book in a tour and go in there, but I would love to go on a match day. And I'm sure it must. If it feels weird for the fans who watch it through TV to watch it without fans, I'm sure it must be quite different for everyone on the stadium as well. So I guess the only support Tuchel has right now is over social media, and I think that's very important for us to keep it going as long as it's positive and within the boundaries of criticism. And I think that brings us into our next segment of the podcast, Chelsea and Tottenham, a game that we all want to... Actually, that's not the one. It's the top four. Top four race, is it on, guys? Nishal, let's get your opinion on that. I think Chelsea are only 6 points behind fourth place. If results go well and we win against Tottenham and West Ham lose, then we could see Chelsea come at fifth place at the end of this game week. How are you feeling about that? And how confident are you that Tuchel can now guide us into top four?
Well, how confident am I? I believe in Tuchel. I think absolutely he can get us top four. And let's be honest, that's our goal at this point. Yes, we wanted to mount the title challenge and we wanted to close the gap between us, City and Liverpool. But with everything that's gone on, with Frank Lampard being sacked, with the club, in a difficult period, if we can end the season getting Champions League football, I think that's still an achievement, considering everything we've gone through. I'm feeling confident for sure, but it's still early days. And you look at the table, Leicester fourth, West Ham fifth, Tottenham sixth, then Chelsea seventh, and it goes down. It's so little between teams like Arsenal in 10th and then Leicester in fourth. So I think it's far, far too early to call the top four race, let alone the title race. But if you told me I had to predict and call my top four now, If I was optimistic, I would say Liverpool, Man City, Man United, and Chelsea. But honestly, it is so tight and so premature to call. Anyone can nick it.
So you're giving the title to Liverpool again?
I'm not going to, no, not in that order. That's just the top four. I'm actually sticking with my title prediction from the start of the season, which is Man City. And for a long time, it looked like I was going to be completely wrong. And I was like, oh, God, I've completely messed it up. But, they're back on top. They've been absolutely outstanding in recent weeks. And I stand by thinking they're going to retain the title because, yes, the Liverpool have finally signed some centre-backs, but with all due respect to them, they're not the greatest centre-backs. And yes, Virgil van Dijk should be back at some point this season, but he'll still be coming back to full fitness. He won't have played since, I think it was October, the Merseyside derby. So if Liverpool do manage to retain the title, fair play. Fair play if you're retaining it in these circumstances. But I've got my money on Man City for sure.
I'm gonna stay out of this conversation about the title race because I think no one wants to know my prediction. But Alex, Amart, you both predicted Man City. Amart, let's start with you. Top four, is it on? Just briefly, if you can.
Yes, definitely on. I think just for the exact same reasons that Michelle said. And also I think that because there's this kind of huge pressure on Tuchel to succeed, and I think he can handle the pressure. Like because of like the circumstances with which he came in, like a legend in Frank Lampard getting the sack and then him coming to replace him. I think there's a lot of pressure on him to succeed, and I think he can. So definitely, I think we can get top four. Like um considering other results go in our favor, then yes, we can definitely get top four. I've never given up on it, and I know we'll do it. I also trust in Tuchel, and I believe that he can get us there.
Alex, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of, I won't lie, I've flip flopped on it for weeks and weeks, but yeah, it's just, I mean, our worst moments, I only didn't believe that we could get top four because of the sheer number of teams ahead of us that at the time weren't in as good a moments, and it just seemed like whilst the points gap wasn't that much, just imagining us kind of getting into that top four ahead of any of, like I know City and Liverpool are pretty much dead certs for it, but even less one of Leicester or United has to really drop off the ball in order for us to get it. So that was why in recent weeks and I'd kind of basically given up on top four. But I think, I mean, in a week we've just kind of seen how crazy results can be with Leicester. Pretty much everyone around us, bar Liverpool and City, lost at some point in the. Well, actually, even Liverpool have. Yeah, even Liverpool have lost in the past week or so. So it's just gone to show how crazy the results can be. And I'm not going to rule it out, but and yeah, if we I think beating Tottenham would be a good start to kind of reinforce the belief that we can do it. And yeah, I'm not giving. I mean, I had given up on it, but I'm not sure if you can undo giving up on something. But I guess I have to try and do that because it can happen. It could happen. It honestly could, but we just need to go on a run, and we need to hope that these unpredictable results that everyone seems to be getting kind of continues. But beating Tottenham would be a fantastic start, or kind of to going on a good run. So, and I'll be a bit more optimistic about it if about top four chances if we do beat Spurs.
Anyone still opting for Chelsea to be champions?
No, Mohammed, it's just you in that corner.
Don't worry. I still believe Tuchel can win the title in his first few months. But anything can happen in football. Let's be honest. We saw Leicester win the title 5 years ago, so I wouldn't rule it out. But I would be happy with Tuchel in his first half season if he gets top four. That deserves plaudits.
It's only 11 points.
Yeah, but even then, so much can change, and we've already got 4 points from our first 6. We've looked really good. Tuchel's starting to find out what team he wants to play, what formation he wants to use, how he's going to instill his philosophy on the club. So I wouldn't rule it out. Anything can happen this season.
Exactly, I agree as well. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of depends on if City can. I mean, with regards to title, at least, if City can keep up the crazy form that they're in at the moment, especially defensively. they keep that going, then I find it hard to look past them. But like Nishal said, it's with the crazy results that we've seen past week and pretty much this season, really, it's anything can happen, and that's why the season is going to be remembered, I think, for quite some time. It's just a weird, unique season.
Yeah, I think we're all hoping for Tuchel to be successful at Chelsea, and sadly Lampard wasn't part of that. Now, the two managers, Tuchel and Mourinho, had different type. They play very different type of football. One likes to park the bus. One likes to, let's say, attack and play football, which is much more attractive than Mourinho's style. Um, Alex, are we going to see the bus come back into Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tomorrow?
Well, let's maybe, but
I mean, if Mourinho grabs a point, he still stays above Chelsea. So
okay. The thing is, Tottenham aren't in the best moment at the moment. I mean, it's not. Maybe it's a bit reactionary to say they're in a bit. They're in a really bad moment. But they lost against Brighton a couple of days ago. And before that they lost to Liverpool at home, and before that they beat Wickham, beat Sheffield before that, and so their form is. It's not the worst. It's recently it's been not good, but so not sure what we'll really get, what we're really going to expect. But all I know is that Tottenham aren't in the best of form at the moment, and we are all in past two games, I guess, at least. But yeah, so we probably will see the bus come out at some point, especially if they get a sneaky goal. But at the same time, wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 0-0 or something.
I can already picture Son scoring a goal and then going to 9 at the back. This is going to be dreadful if that happens. Michelle, Mourinho, and Tuchel. You've seen Tuchel almost. You've probably seen him closer than anyone. But are we expecting Mourinho to play defensive football and grab a point to stay in that top 4 race, or is he going to go all out attack and try and grab the 3 points and the win?
It's an interesting one because when we had Lampard against Mourinho, the whole rhetoric was the master against the apprentice. Now it's Mourinho against Tuchel. I see it as the master against the maestro. It's going to be a fascinating clash. Two different philosophies. I think Mourinho is expected to go defensive. Of course he is. But in the form Tottenham are in, and the fact they really, really need to win this game, in fact, saying that is an understatement, how much can we expect them to go defensive? I think Mourinho, I don't know how much he knows about Tuchel. I can remember maybe one or two occasions in the past where they might have played, but none of them stand out straight away. But I think Mourinho's still learning about how to tackle a Tuchel side. Not to mention that Chelsea have played Tottenham twice this season and not won either of them. Lost in the League Cup during the league. So it's going to be a very interesting battle. I think, it would be weird to say anything other than seeing Mourinho go for a defensive style, but we know Tuchel's going to go for it. We saw against Burnley, very attacking-minded performance. That's what we need. It's going to be attacking against defence. And if we see a 0-0, I wouldn't be too surprised, but I do fancy Chelsea to nick it. But it's going to be a brilliant battle between the two managers.
Amart, your thoughts on those, on the battle between the managers and the players and the tactics?
Yeah, I think the last time we met in the league at home, I think the both managers were trying to be cautious. Like they were both playing defensive, and at the same time, none of them wanted to take risk. None of them wanted to go on the attack. So that's why we got the goalless draw at the bridge. But I don't think we'll see that this time. I think Tuchel will go for it. He'll attack like the way we did with Burnley. He's definitely going to try and get the win. And with Mourinho, when he's under pressure like this, he doesn't really go defensive, and it looks like he's getting a little bit under pressure now because he has lost his last 2 games, and then this he has to get something from this one. He has to get something from this one to reassure fans that he I mean reassure fans that they can still win. I don't think Kane will be available for the game against us too, so probably that is also an issue. He might not be as defensive as he was when we played the first time. I think this time he might also open up. He might also try and get a goal in and try and get the win. and that is where probably we can head them, because when they lose, when they soften up on their defense, and we go on like on all attack, we can actually get something from the game. So I'm confident. I'm very, very confident. I don't think both managers will go defensive. I know Tuchel will go at in like in the attacking side, but with Mourinho, I don't see him going like playing defensively as he usually does, especially after losing 2 games on the bounce. He will definitely want something from this game. So it will be an interesting game to watch, definitely.
Yeah, I think I've just pulled up the stats for the Chelsea versus top six, in the big six that they call it, and we've played 5 and we've lost 3 and drawn 2 in the last 5 games, and we've actually kind of just struggled to score goals as well. We've only scored 2 goals in 5 games. Alex, are we going to struggle again, or this Tuchel attack and this the way we play right now, where we've actually haven't registered a shot on target since the last 2 games? Are we going to see one of those nights again, and hopefully Chelsea grab a 1 or 2 nil win, or are we going to see a clear Chelsea win? I'm hoping that we do.
Well, I mean, it's bringing up the stats from the past 5 games is a little bit, maybe not the best because, I mean, yeah, we were in pretty dire form when other than Lampard's last game. So bringing up the stuff from the past 5 games isn't the best. This team looks a little. I mean, I saw some quotes earlier from Pulisic saying the guys are in a lot of confidence and they're enjoying their stuff at the moment. So I don't doubt the team's confidence and ability to score goals or even take shots at the moment. We restricted Burnley to, I think, 1 shot in the 94th minute where it barely was a shot. It kind of just came off Burnley players' head when they got a lucky corner in the last minute of the game. And we had about 19 shots and forced Pope to make quite a few saves. So yeah, I'm not worried about us nicking a win or anything. I think we'll go. I do hope we go out there and play our stuff. That Tuchel's just. I think the main thing is with him is we just seem quite a lot more confident and there's a bit more drive, as Nishal said earlier. It is going to be a really fun game, at least for the neutral, and for us probably a bit stressful because this we need to see Tuchel. I think it's one of the checklist marks for a Chelsea manager: beat Spurs in the first game that you have, get them all on the side. It's been interesting. Have you guys seen the quotes that of Tuchel about him and Tottenham Hotspur and some of the things he said before he became Chelsea manager?
They're taken out of context. They're ridiculously taken out of context. But I think it's sweet because it's a nice little story about. I mean, as a kid, I know my dad had the same. He grew up in Switzerland, and this is sidetracking a bit, but he always told me how the only game that they'd see from English football would be the FA Cup final. So he'd watch that every year as a tradition. So it's kind of the same with Tuchel because, he grew up and born in West Germany. He had that same thing. So I think it's sweet, but it was nice hearing him talk about it because I think we saw a very, very human side to him when he spoke about that.
Yeah. Well, he turned it into a positive, and he's
sorry.
Sorry, go on, Mohammad. Go on.
Go.
Okay, fine. I'll make it quick though. But he's just such a positive guy, and I feel like he could literally turn anything that any reporter or anything turned out of context or anything really, he could just turn it into a positive, and that's probably the main. One of the things that draws me most to Tuchel over the past I've seen in the past week is just his positivity and I think he's been his quote of I've been told how important the game is, and all this stuff. It's nice to see his positivity that he's brought around the club.
I was just going to defend Tuchel and just say Mourinho said he would never sign for Tottenham. So I mean, he's gone to Tottenham, so I think both managers. I mean, I think what was his excuse? I can't exactly remember. What was it? Because he said Chelsea were paying me then, and now they're not. So
no, he said, "Oh, well, they fired me." That's what he said.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, managers have got a job to do, and if they don't, then they've got to look for a new club. They can't just come to a new club and pretend they've got a passion for that club, unless they've been there for the last 4, 5, 6 years, or unless they've been an ex-player or a legend at the club. Frank Lampard, Arteta, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So yeah, I think it's wrong to judge Tuchel over those comments, and I think that, yeah, as Nishal said, they've been taken out of context in my opinion. Every manager would praise every team, but that doesn't mean that you call them out every time. So I think that ends the debate between Mourinho and Tuchel. Anything you guys want to add on?
No.
I mean, I
I'll
think
take
we've
that
said
as a
it
no.
all, but
Difficult question.
I think
Go on,
I'll take
Nishal.
that as a no.
yeah, I was just saying, I think we've said it all. You know, it's going to be a really interesting battle. I think, you know, I think they're managers of a polar opposites of football. You know, Mourinho's defensive park robust style, Tuchel's attacking, almost rock and roll Jurgen Klopp style football. So yeah, as you said, great game for the neutral, but my God, it's going to be nerve wracking for all of us, for Chelsea and Tottenham fans. But it's a huge, huge game for both teams.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more on the line than it was the last time we met each other. I think it was at the start of the season, almost at the start of the season. And I think both managers will be hungry for a win. But that brings us to the lineups and the lineup that Tuchel's going to play to hopefully get the 3 points. Let's start with a goalkeeper. Nishal, you said you had a conversation with Kepa. Did he tell you some inside secrets of him starting this game?
I wish. He gives me a little wink, which means he's starting. No, we were just, with me and Kepa, I think, again, if you've seen the photos, you'll see I was literally right next to the players, and the player who happened to be right next to me was Kepa, which is kind of bittersweet sin for me, because when he's been going through difficult patches early in the season, I was always defending him and always supporting him. So, you know, to be literally sat a meter away from him, that was interesting. But no, we were just when he came onto the bench, I just kind of nodded at him, kind of acknowledging him, and he did it back. And then we did that a few times as we saw each other. So, you know, just
I think that might have been the one.
maybe that's the time that he's starting. But no, yeah, Edouard Mendy has started. And it's interesting because, of course, one stat shows he's kept back-to-back clean sheets. The other stat shows he's not faced a single shot on target. So, you know, we don't know what really to expect. Of course, we know he's a great goalkeeper, but we haven't really seen Edouard Mendy under Thomas Tuchel really have to do anything. Like, I think back to the Burnley game, he had a little back heel Cruyff turn against the Burnley attack. I think maybe Chris Wood. And that was about it. Like, I really don't remember him doing much. So yeah, Mendy's going to start. I think that's kind of set in stone.
Yeah, I think Mendy's starting. Alex Mendy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I know you'd like. Yeah, I know he's your favorite player, Mohammed, and I know you'd rather see him start. But
I had a joke lined up after Nishal, but I just didn't have that. I wanted to say it, but I don't know if I should say it or not.
Blood out. Come on. We'll cringe with you.
No, I was just gonna ask Nishal if he would have probably thrown it through a pen at him just to see if he could catch it or not.
Oh, come on. That's just disrespect. Okay.
That would be cruel. Imagine.
That would be cool.
That would be my journalism career in tatters. Like, you just see that on the camera, me dashing a pen at Kepa.
Yeah. Here we have.
Imagine same journalist abuses Chelsea goalkeeper in horrific attack. It's that front page.
Yeah. So okay, I'm guessing we're all going to go with the same formation of 3 at the back now that we've seen that he likes that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's more.
This is where I look at the lineups before. Sorry for the interruption, but this is where I say, okay, Lampard. It was so much more simpler. We know anything could happen to the team, but it will still be a 4-3-3. You could have Rudiger play striker, but it will still stay 4-3-3. And with Tuchel, I think that's not been set yet. But sorry, Alex, go ahead.
I was going to say, I would have thought for the Wolves game, I picked 3 at the back because that's what Wolves normally go with. They went with 4 at the back some of the point, but some time this season. But yeah, I'm surprised that he's actually sticking with that as opposed to a 4-3-3. And I would have maybe thought there would have been a bit of a chance he would have gone to the back 4 if Marcos Alonso hadn't scored a goal in the previous game. So, but now it's like Marcus Alonso is going to play, so he has to be played left wing back. So we have to play back three. So yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to be a back three, unless plot twist puts Alonso at left back, which would be interesting.
I
But
think that Alonso at left back and left wing back are two different things. I think. I think you guys mentioned it on
Absolutely.
the last podcast. But, Nishal, your back three.
Yeah, I would keep it the same. Look, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I think the back three did brilliantly. I was full of praise for them. Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Thiago Silva, all excellent together. I do want to see Zuma back in that side soon, but I would not change anything for now. That back three is superb. Thiago Silva really impressed me. Azpilicueta, captain's performance. I've got no reason to change the defence.
yeah, even Rudiger's been reasonably
Surprising.
solid in some of the in the games in the chances they got. So I guess they'll I think some fans probably a bit frustrated that Rudiger's come back when Zuma's been. I mean, in all fairness, I don't remember Zuma
I
being
think I
particularly
like
poor.
what Nishal said here. I think if it's not broken, let's not fix it. So unless Rudiger scores another own goal, I don't see any problem in starting. I mean, yeah, of course, people are going to be a fan of Zuma because he played so well throughout the season, throughout under Lampard. So I mean, yeah, they're going to be shocked. But then again, if he's playing fine, then go for it. And I think I said it a few episodes before. If it doesn't matter who plays as long as Chelsea wins and we're moving in a positive direction. Only Mount gets to start every game. That's the only fair thing.
Wow, right.
I might move. I might change my account to Mount fan account now at this point. Amart, your back three.
Yeah, I think I'll go with. I don't know. I want Zuma to be back in this side because I feel like, to be honest, I feel like he's a better defender and he also offers a threat during corners. Like I don't think our corners have been the same since he he was put on the bench. He wasn't starting because I don't think we've not scored any corners since he was on the bench. So and you can see that our corners really suffered. Mount plays in some really good um crosses into the ball when he's taking corners, and there's nobody there to actually deal with it. So, but apart from that, too, I don't know. Sometimes Rudiger, I don't really trust Rudiger that well. He's done very well, especially he did well in the Wolves game and especially in the Burnley game. But sometimes you just feel like he has a mistake waiting to happen. But it could be like I said, like I've said in previous episodes, could be that because there's a new manager, they've all found kind of like a new form or they found new spirit to play, they found new motivation to play. So probably they are different. But I would prefer seeing Aspi, Thiago Silva, and Zuma at the back.
Yeah, so I think Amart's going with a bit of a different one, but the midfield and the wing backs. I'll go. I'll say mine first this time. I'll go with wing backs. I think Marcus Alonso deserves a start. And then I would like to see Reece James, or actually Callum Hudson-Odoi has been incredible. Okay, Callum Hudson-Odoi. And then in the midfield, again, I'll go with Kovacic and Jorginho. I think we can't really change much because of how well we played against Burnley. Amart, yours?
Yeah, I think I'll go with the same thing and just drop Jorginho and put in Kante if Kante is fit. Um, because I don't just there's I've seen this kind of recent hype around Jorginho, which is good because he did very well, fully deserved. He did very well against Burnley, but to be fair, Burnley didn't offer much threat to us, and Jorginho does best whenever the team doesn't like press us that much or they worry our defense, and that way he's able to play his game, and he does well. But I don't think we'll get that with um, Tottenham because I feel like Spurs will be pressing us a lot, and probably that's when uh, um, he might fall short. So for the Spurs game, I think we should go with Kante and Kovacic in the middle, and then Alonso and Callum Hudson-Odoi on the wings as wing backs.
Yeah. I think Kante. I kind of forgot Kante was in the team, to be honest. Um, But no, yeah, Kante has been. Oh, somehow he always does well against Tottenham, against Man United. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Kante in that role as well. So, Michelle, your midfield three and the wing backs.
My only change in the midfield and the wing backs would be N'Golo Conte coming in for Jorginho. And that's purely for, as Amart said, you put it exactly how I would have. If he is fit, he's got to start, surely, because he's a player who brings so much to Chelsea. I think Jorginho's had two really good games. And if it's based on meritocracy and Conte isn't fit, absolutely start Jorginho again. But if Conte can play the full 90 minutes, he's got to come back in. Because what he offers, not just for Chelsea, but against Tottenham, who can be dangerous on the break, to be able to cover us and have that defensive mindset and ability going back. We need that. So, I do hope he's fit. I think he should be. We'll find out on Wednesday in Tuchel's press conference. Wing backs as well. Alonso's got to start meritocracy. He was excellent. And I would keep Hudson-Odoi as well. He was really, really impressive. And I'm very curious to see how he plays and comes up against Tottenham as a wing back. Because what's interesting now about him playing there is that he's got much more freedom in playing out wide on the wing. Because you've got the wingers in front of him are more attacking midfielders further inside and in behind the striker, which gives Hudson-Odoi the entire right flank and much more space to be expressive and to be himself. So, yeah, Conte would be my only change, but if it's the same four, I wouldn't complain again.
Alex, your midfield and your wing backs.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, to be fair, I'd also say my defense because you didn't ask me that. But no. But yeah, I agree with pretty much all that's been said. It's that in defense, yeah, don't change what's not broken. We all want to. I mean, Zuma is a shame.
Wait, you didn't say your defense?
Huh? No, I didn't say. You didn't ask me.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I just had to get you back, really. But no, keep this for the defense. Keep it the same. Although it's a shame. It's sad to see Zuma's kind of fallen down the pecking order. But I think we just have to accept it and not change what's broken. The fact that we kept 2 clean sheets past 2 games, you don't really want to change. Don't want to disrupt the harmony and the understanding between the 4 of the three centre backs and the keeper. And then for the 4 in front, yeah, again, don't really change anything unless N'Golo Kante is fit. We've seen not much last year, but the goal 2 years ago where Spurs 2 years ago under Sarri, where Son kind of dribbled through our whole team and Jorginho kind of just let him run past him, kind of springs to mind. So it's, don't really want to see Jorginho start unless, if Kante is, in all fairness to him, he has played well in the past 2 games, but if Kante is fit, and I know that they want. we want to see Kante brought in, but in a controlled way at least, because his management over the past couple of years with injuries and all, it's been a little. When he's out for a while. So if he is ready, then absolutely play him instead of Jorginho, and if not, I think we can still be confident in the way that Tuchel has got Kovacic and Jorginho playing, especially in the last game. In the Wolves game, they were a little passive and passing a little bit too much sideways, I think. But in the game against Burnley, they were passing a lot more forwards, a lot more direct. So, and that's definitely something that's probably something that Tuchel's instilled in them. So yeah, really confident in those 2 playing against Spurs. But if Kante is there, then available, then play Kante instead of Jorginho.
Apologies for not asking your defense. I kind of felt like I kind of thought you said it while you were giving the explanation. I don't know why. Sorry. Michelle, your front 3. Your front 3.
I can give one of the 3 for certain, which I think Christian Pulisic will start. We saw him come off a bench. He was so positive, such a great influence. He changed the game in my opinion. So I think Christian Pulisic on the left wing is set. Then we have 2 dilemmas. We've got who gets to start up front and also who starts on the right. We'll start with the right. We would expect Mason Mount because, of course, Hakim Ziyech didn't play last time. But remember, he was rested because he'd been playing 5 games in a row. Obviously, he's injury prone and he needed to have that time out. Why do you think he was being rested? For the big games and important games like Thursday. So I would expect him to come back in. It would be harsh on Mount to drop out, but I would expect to see Hakim Ziyech come back in. And in terms of leading the line, you can make a case for any three of the strikers, but I would go for Timo Werner. He needs the form as always, but I think his first Chelsea goal came at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the League Cup all those months ago. I think if there's ever a place or ever a team that he can play and he can get back Premier League goal against after 3 months, I think it can be Tottenham. So I would go for our strongest front three of Pulisic, Werner, Ziyech.
Alex, your front three?
Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. We've got to start Timo. Even before he even came to Chelsea, he got a goal in the home and away leg when Leipzig played against Spurs. And yeah, if he's ever he needs to get out of the ruts that he's in of not really scoring in the Premier League. And if there's any game that he's going to get out of it, it's going to be against Tottenham. So yeah, he absolutely starts. And yeah, it's interesting where Mason Mount fits in, because yeah, it'll be pretty harsh of him to not start. He's played pretty well in the past two games, or past two times where came on as a sub against Wolves and started against Burnley. But yeah, I'm really interested to see if Ziyech does. Yeah, if it's Ziyech or Mount, but I'll go with Ziyech. And yeah, Pulisic on the left, of course, because he got taken off and he played pretty well as well to assist. Especially the assist for Alonso was a nice little clip ball in the Burnley game. So yeah, Pulisic starts on the left wing for me too.
Yeah, I think I agree with the two of you, but it's difficult because when you talk about the right, as for the left and the striker, I agree with the two of you. Werner definitely, because I like the same reasons the same reasons you guys highlighted. Like he has to start scoring at some points. He has to, and I think he scored his first goal against Tottenham, so probably they are the antidote. And then on the left, yeah, definitely Pulisic. Pulisic playing on the left would be the best option because he did very, very well against Burnley. And then on the right is where the issue is, because you don't really have Mount and Ziyech. You have Mount, Ziyech, Havertz, and Havertz was very good against Wolves. Mount was very, very good against Burnley, and then Ziyech was rested because they wanted him to play this game. So it's very, very hard to pick between these three, but I'll go for Ziyech. But the thing with this system is that we will not be able to see all of them play in the same game, unlike with Lampard's system where they were all fitted. There were games where we saw Werner, we saw Havertz, we saw Mount and Pulisic and Ziyech all playing in the same game. But with this system, I don't think we will, and there will be points in this season where Tuchel will have to rotate them. But with this one, I'll go with Ziyech.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with everyone here, and I'll say, yeah, I think Pulisic needs to start this, and Ziyech has been pretty much good as well, so I think he gets a nod as well. And then again, as Nishal said, Werner needs to boost up his confidence, and I think he got his first goal at that stadium, so I'm sure he can get a hat trick there again. I feel like I'm being too optimistic here. But no, yeah, I think the front three has to be that. Anything else you guys want to add on to this? Nishal, you want to give your final thoughts on the game and what you're looking for, and maybe your score prediction?
I'm really excited for the game. I always love playing Tottenham. There's no team I love seeing us beat more than Spurs. It's a massive rivalry, and especially the first one under Thomas Tuchel. There's big expectation, but also big aspiration, because this is his first, real test, let's be honest. He's passed the first two. He's shown, okay, these are the early signs of Chelsea. This is what I can achieve. Now, here's the big one. Can I win my first derby, beat our arch rivals, and really send a statement to the Premier League? I'm very excited. I am nervous, I won't lie, but after having seen Chelsea for the first time this season and for the first time under Tuchel live, I'm really encouraged, and I saw a great performance, and I have no doubt about our ability in seeing us perform the same way. So my score predictions, I'm going for Tottenham 1, Chelsea 2.
Okay, that's a fair prediction.
Marcus Alonso to get one, of course. That's his token Tottenham goal.
Maybe both. Two-goal Marcus Alonso.
Maybe both, yeah. Maybe both. Wouldn't put it past him.
Bicycle kick.
Two free kicks. Bicycle kick. Yeah. I mean, he recreated Van Basten last week, so why can't he recreate Roberto Carlos this week? So
There's no limit to the imagination.
No.
Love it. Alex and Mark, you guys want to add on something?
It would be good to finally beat a traditional top 6 team at least this season. We haven't done it yet, so I mean, although if we talk proper tops, or this year the top 6 current, West Ham are somehow 5th, and we beat them 3-0. So kind of counts, but yeah, it would be really nice to be a top tradition, one of the big top 6, because we haven't so far this season. So yeah, and on top of that, it's Tottenham. So yeah, it would be great to kind of show what we can do for the rest of the season with a statement win against Tottenham, especially at their stadium. So yeah, really looking forward to it, as usual for any Tottenham game.
Mark, your final thoughts and final review of the game?
Yeah, I just think we have to win because it looks like this week the teams around us might have good results, so we also have to get a good result. I think right now the 3 points are very, very important for us to climb the table at least. So in case any of them slips, we'll be there to capitalize on it. So with this one, we just have to win, and I'm confident about this one, especially like saying I considering the fact that like it's his first kind of major test. I think he'll go in with 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 full confidence and with full like he's going and winning this game. Like he's not going to play his risky, or he's not going to take any risk with this game. I think he's going to go all out with and win this. So for that, I'm very confident. And yeah, like Alex
I'm
said, we
not
have
sure I
to win.
understand. I'm not sure I understand that he won't be risky, but he will go all out.
Yeah. I mean, he'll do what he knows. He wouldn't go there
Okay.
and be cautious like he wants to get a draw or something. Like when we played against them the first time, like both managers were cautious. None of them wanted to do anything. Um, um, they didn't want to go for it. They didn't want to. It looked like none of them came there to win. Like they wanted a draw, and I don't think Tuchel will go for a draw. I think he'll go all out and win this. So for that, I'm confident.
Yep, hopefully he does. So this will be a great test for Tuchel and the new Chelsea, and the new start of an era. Of course, Tuchel unbeaten in the last 2 games, draw against Wolves and a win against Burnley. That sums up the preview from the CFCTALK podcast, actually. If you want any more previews or more discussions on Chelsea and Tottenham, make sure to check out our second channel, which will be linked below. Of course, our presenter Amaya does the pre-match reviews and the post-match reviews of each game, as well as the live watch-along, which will be happening. Matthew will be in charge of those. Hopefully we'll get some guests on. Alex, will you be joining us tomorrow? It's a late kickoff.
He's putting me on the spot. Already? Yeah, yes, I'll be. Yes, I'll gladly
You can't say
be on
no.
there. Yeah, you can't. I can't now. You didn't even.
Maybe.
Yeah, you can't now. This is going to be a recurring theme now, where he's just going to keep asking me whenever we're doing one of these. Are you going to come on, Alex?
It's
yes,
clever,
I'll come
though.
on.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, very
Should
much
I-
peer pressure.
Should I do it to Michelle as well?
Good thinking.
Yeah.
No.
We've given him a slice of the cake. Now he wants it all. So.
No, it's a free to join, and it's anyone can join it at any time and leave at any time. So if you're watching this, you could actually join in as well. Just make sure to join the Discord. Like use the Discord link to join it, and then you will be added onto the server, and you will be able to join the live stream and have a chat with Alex, who will be there, of course, tomorrow after all the pressure, and then Matthew, and then I think I'll be joining as well during the match, maybe I think 5 minutes before. So yeah, I'm looking forward to all of that. Make sure to follow all of our socials. Again, make sure to follow Nishal and his work. Great writer and great journalist, and looking forward to seeing what he brings out, the pieces that he brings out in the future for his own blog. And thank you for coming on, Nishal.
Thank you very much for having me on. Really enjoyed that, and I hope your listeners enjoyed as well. If you want to see more of my work, as Alex has mentioned, then you can follow me on Twitter at Nishal_SP, and you can find all of my work on nishalsblog.com. But thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.
So I'll be referred as Alex now, but
Damn it, sorry.
That's-
I just looked up and I
It's
saw
all
the
right.
first name. It's a collective
It's all right.
thing.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you, Alex.
We're
Thank you,
all
Mohammed.
Alex.
Thank you, Amart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all Alex. We're all Alex here. No,
Slip of a tongue, apologies. But I hope you enjoyed anyway.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, we
Sure.
did. We did.
It's fine. That's all for today, guys. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.